Okay, well, first of all, Carlos, first time we've seen you in a couple months. How
Yeah.
you been doing? Particularly away from the field for a couple months, not in the grind of the season and all that.
Well, uh, after last season, reflecting on the season, the things that could do better last year. Obviously, we didn't achieve what we tried to achieve last year, and we did a we created a foundation for the 2026 season. We have a new changes this year. We have new faces. Uh, the guy shows up on preseason uh, in a good shape, so that's a plus. That's a good difference compared with a year ago.
Yeah, that was one of the things I was going to mention. Is you now have 1 year here in San Antonio, sort of laying the foundation for what you want to do for your vision as the head coach. So how much has it helped having that and not having to start from scratch, and even just for you personally, not having to set up your life here in a new city this time?
Yeah, it makes a big difference. In every aspect. A year ago was first time with the players, first time with my staff, first time setting it up in San Antonio, looking for a new life. Now it's different. Uh, we have 1 year working together as a staff. Most of the group is going to stay this year, so we know the players, their qualities, the thing that we need to uh, work on them to improve. So that's an advantage. That's an advantage. Obviously, this year we set the bar. Last year making playoffs. Obviously, this year we got to go further and compete for the championship.
And you talked about reflecting and the things you want to improve on. What are some of those things that you guys that you're particularly targeting in setting up in preseason and throughout the season to do better this time around?
Well, try to keep the ball moments of the game more solid and more consistent through the year. I believe one of the reflection I had was early in the year we were pretty solid defensively and not creating many scoring opportunities. So, and then we went the other way around. We focused a lot on creating scoring opportunities, and we walk away from the defensive side a little bit. So that's something. One of the reflection that come back to my mind last year after the season. So that's something we're working on it right now. Make sure we keep those moments consistently through the year.
And about a weekend, the first full week of preseason, pretty much now. You guys play your first match tomorrow, even. So, what have you seen so far that's surprised or maybe impressed you this time around, or maybe who has impressed you this time around?
No, the first thing is the way they show up in preseason. This is a long off season here in US. 2 months, a little bit more than 2 months. That's a lot, including Christmas. So that are holidays. But the way they show up, the 17 on the field, I was much better than a year ago. So that's an improvement. Playing the first game tomorrow, uh, only with 6 days of practice, we can count on those guys with good amount of minutes for tomorrow, at least 40, 45 minutes, compared with a year ago when we played Houston with a week into preseason. Most of those guys were ready only for 30 minutes.
And um, completely lost my train of thought. But um, what areas you've got 19 guys on the roster so far, 15 or depending on how you want to count it, 16 coming back to San Antonio, um, three new ones. What areas are you still looking to bolster the team, still add some guys?
Well, as you know, we signed a right back. Uh, we trying to sign another goalkeeper. We only had two at this moment, so we're trying to sign another one. Uh, Potentially a midfielder. We're gonna lose Nicky for a few weeks, so we need to reinforce that area. On the wings, I think we pretty much set, adding Christian Sorto and Parano. So just the areas we're looking for right now is a goalkeeper and midfielder.
And coach, this is your second preseason training camp here. So, what things are you doing differently in terms of getting the guys prepared for this season than you did during your first week last year as head coach?
Well, this first week compared with the first week a year ago is the intensity of the practice. You know, as I say, they show up in a better shape this time. So when they need to get the shape back, you can't go so hard on those guys because there's when the injury came right away. You know, they step away from the game for 2 months and they come back and you go with a heavy intensity injuries might happen. You know, so this year, so we saw them in a better shape. So the intensity was a little bit higher than a year ago. That was the difference.
What's the biggest takeaway you want the players to carry into the next phase of preseason?
Wow. That when we play together as a team, we are a very strong team. We can achieve good things in this league. You know, one of the games who came to my memory last year is after losing 5 games in a row, we played El Paso, and that was a fantastic game. And that was if you ask me for a player, the single player in that game, it's going to be impossible. I think all the guys who play in that game did it really well. We played good as a team, as a group, and we get a good result to make playoffs.
And what excites you the most about this group right now?
I see the group hungry, you know, hungry and to get there, be in the top and compete for a championship. That's what I said this first week.